Football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around to talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes. We have some very, very good news ahead of Monday night and some not so great news, the rumor to get into, so let's jump straight into this video. Well, starting off, you can already read it on the screen. Aleem McNeill is supposed to be back for Monday Night Football, just basically waiting on an evaluation, but Dan Campbell says it should be going, and that is huge news for our team right now, especially on defense. Yeah, depending on an appeal, we are looking to get back Brian Branch, but also Aleem McNeill. I don't know if the appeal with Brian Branch is going to work out. I don't think we're going to have him for Monday, but we should be getting back our defensive tackle. The Buccaneers are set to face the Lions on Monday Night Football this week, and when they do, they'll have to go up against one of our best pass rushers in that interior line, and he's going to be coming back with a vengeance. McNeill tore his ACL in week 15 last year and has been steadily making his way back to the 21-day practice window ever since. And now, per head coach Dan Campbell, he says, quote, he's ready to make his debut against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Quote, barring something happening this week, Aleem's freaking playing, man. Dan Campbell. Of course, he says it like that too. It gets me fired up. Dan Campbell getting all the Detroit Lions fans fired up. Somebody we need back and somebody that couldn't be back at a better time. Tampa Bay's three interior linemen on offense, Ben Bredesen, Graham Barton, and whoever is set to replace the injured Luke Haggard will have to watch McNeill and see how he plays. McNeill was having a very strong season before he tore his ACL too. It really sucked when he did it. It was against the Bills, and I was just kind of like, oh, there goes the playoffs. McNeill put up 25 combined tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, and a forced fumble in the season. The Buccaneers have injuries everywhere also, though, so it's kind of one of those things where we needed him to come back to help with our injuries. So this should be no surprise. But McNeill will present a problem to Tampa Bay's banged up offensive line. He boasted a PFF grade of 79.6 last year and was particularly a strong pass rusher, grading out at a 77.1. But quarterback Baker Mayfield will need to go and ball out quickly, something he has not had to worry about doing this season because he has been balling out almost every single game. And I think this is where it comes in clutch, right? Because it's our secondary is so banged up, our pass rush has to just be better than it normally is. So having a guy back who is a great pass rusher like Aleem McNeill, who gets those forced fumbles, who gets those sacks, who is able to go get to the quarterback. He's fast for his size. Don't get it twisted. It's going to be really big to have him back for this week. But what's going on for the Bucs? The Bucs will be getting back some of their injured players of their own, like Mike Evans. If that's the case, the team's wide receiver core is going to get a much-needed boost, making both units healthier than they were in Week 6 when the Bucs secured a decisive win over the 49ers. Now that Mike Evans is supposedly back, we're going to have to really, really pressure Baker Mayfield, and that's what Aleem the Dream does. It was kind of a when we knew the other guys were going to be out, we're like, okay, well, at least they don't have any receivers. Mike Evans comes back. Now we have a problem. McNeill is recognized as an effective pass rusher, though, ranking among the best interior defensive linemen in the league for his ability to generate pressure on the quarterback. That's what I love about him so much, and that's what makes him such a key role for us in our defensive scheme. He had one of the best pass rush win rates among interior linemen last year, beating his block 14.5% of the time. Oh my gosh, that's a stat. With a 93.9 pass rush grade on bull rushes, along with a 62.5% win rate and 40% pressure rate on bull rushes, leading all NFL players in 2024 before his injury. That's an insane stat. He's beating his guy on the block like 15% of the time. That's awesome. That is what we need. That's what we're currently missing in this offense, besides, a secondary. That is kind of what we are missing right now, is having those more consistent numbers getting into the backfield. And I think this is going to be the piece that lets Hutch really start to open up and go insane. I'm telling you guys, now that he is back, Hutch is going to have less double teams to worry about. I think we're going to see a lot of consistency and a lot of production from the defensive line this week, barring that our secondary doesn't leave every single play open and Mike Evans gets the ball out in the first second of the snap. but I'm really excited to see what they'll do. You guys let me know what you think. I think that's going to take us straight over into what. Okay, so our secondary is beat up. What do we need right now? And I've talked about this already with the Seattle guy, but this trade just seems a lot more reasonable and realistic just because of circumstance. Well, we know we need help at cornerback right now, and that's just a fact. With McNeil returning, it definitely helps the pass rush. Which then relieves the secondary a little bit. But with Baker playing the way he is playing right now, and his pocket presence being so amazing right now, we are going to need some help in that secondary. And that's where another Saint comes in to offer us some help. Cornerback Alante Taylor. All right. Taylor has been a bright spot on the Saints so far, and has really yet to meet their expectations. The former second round selection was one that did not overlap with Dan Campbell's tenure, being selected in 2022. That said, Taylor has experience in both the slot and playing outside, which greatly benefits Detroit in the future when it comes to returning Terrion Arnold and hopefully DJ Reed soon. That basically means that they would put the Lions in a spot where the rotation would look like Arnold, Taylor, and Amik Robertson. And that looks likely, and that would be an insane rotation for our secondary, barring everyone just stays healthy, right? So why Alante Taylor? Besides the fact that he seems to really fit in with our scheme, he's a Saint, which means Dan Campbell loves the Saints, right? He's going to bring in more Saints guys. Even though he didn't really play with Dan Campbell, I still think there's a good chance Dan and Brad go out and grab this guy. He's 26, played for the Bulls in college. He's 6 foot, 198 pounds. His best seasons were in 2023 and 2024, where he recorded a combined 117 tackles, 5 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Last year alone, he had a career high in tackles, sacks, and passes defended with 16 pass breakups. So he's only going up right now, right? Stock's only going up. He's characterized by his versatility as a cornerback, using his exceptional speed and athleticism to cover receivers and support the run. Boom. That's what we look for, right? Guys who do both. He is known for his ability to play both outside and in the slot, as well as his aggressiveness, particularly in press coverage and making plays on the ball. Man coverage guy. While he can be overly ambitious sometimes on the plays he tries to force, his speed, instincts, and physical tackling make him a playmaking defender and the kind of guy that would really fit our scheme. I think his play style matches our scheme perfectly, and his attitude towards the game when he's playing seems to fit Dan Campbell's cultural fit in the locker room. He's a press coverage guy who can play man effectively, and that's kind of what we're looking for right now. Alante Taylor is currently on a 4-year, $7.2 million rookie contract with the Saints that he signed in 2022. The contract includes approximately $3.45 million in guaranteed money and a signing bonus of about $2.41 million. He's scheduled to earn a base salary of $3.656 million in 2025. For the Lions to trade for Alante Taylor, we'd probably need to offer a day 3 pick, such as a 2026 fifth rounder, possibly a sixth rounder, based on, performance incentives, obviously. He is in his final year of his rookie contract, though. His Taylor's modest cap hit is around $4.26 million for the 2025. That makes him really, really affordable right now, and an effective rental deal for a Super Bowl contender like the Detroit Lions. So it just seems like the stars kind of lined up for Alante Taylor. Fits our scheme, fits our culture. Right now, we need a guy like him who plays in the kind of positions he plays as, and he helps with the run, which is just an added bonus. Plus, the fact that he's in his last year of his contract means we can just go out and grab him for a really great price. With a 1-5 record and new head coach Kellen Moore, the Saints are in a position to be sellers for that before this 2025 trade deadline as well. Trading Taylor would allow them to recoup an asset instead of potentially losing him for nothing in free agency next season. Plus, we know Detroit's history with grabbing New Orleans Saints guys thanks to Campbell's history in the city. I think this would be a great grab, guys. I think it's kind of one of those stars are aligning kind of deals, right? Where it's like, wow, perfect for what we need, perfect for the position we like having, fits the culture, fits our scheme. He's a Saint guy, so it fits the history, and he's in the perfect time to grab him because right now he's at his cheapest. I think, honestly, this one goes behind more of a rumor. I think this is a very real possibility that we grab this guy before that deadline. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for him. Let me know what you think about this one, though, and if it would be overpaying for a guy. Should we just wait for our corners to come back? I don't know. I feel like we're in a position now where we need to keep winning before they come back to make sure we secure a great spot in the seeding. but that's just me. Let me know what you guys think right now. That's going to take us into our third topic of the day, kind of going back to the injuries we talked about with Ali McNeil, just a bigger look into both teams and what it kind of means for this game coming up on Monday. Well, it's going to be one of those great matchups, right? Both squads looking to strengthen their grip on the conference and earn a very important head-to-head win that can easily affect their team's playoff seeding down the line, like we just said. So before practice begins on Thursday, I figured we, look at both sides of the injury rundown and see which injuries are worth talking about, because which ones are going to affect the team the most. The Lions are going to be without starting corners Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed, which sucks, along with Avonte Maddox in this game, one of our backups. Arnold and Maddox are expected to be back with the Lions after the Week 8 bye, so that's good. But Reed could potentially be back in November. This leaves the Lions moving Amik Robertson from the slot to the outside position, and then Rock Ya-Sin takes things up in the starting spot, which is not ideal. From there, the Lions will again be forcing to go with veteran corner Arthur Mullet in the slot. He's only been with Detroit for a week at this point, so that trade rumor, really don't be surprised if that ends up happening before Monday, because I don't know how well we're trusting my man Arthur Mullet. He's a vet. I'll give it to him, but I think definitely we want to go with the guy that kind of we know will fit us better. At safety, because we're out with Brian Branch, because of that stupid suspension he gave himself, there's concerns about Kirby Joseph because of his knee injury, whether or not he'll be able to play through it because of the pain he's been going through. It was like really concerning. I didn't even think he was going to come back against the Chiefs. But it ended up being one of his worst performances in a while because of the injury. So I'm really kind of starting to think maybe he just rests it. I'm not too sure. But I know we're going to need him, because if we don't have him, then we don't have Brian Branch or our starting corners, and our secondary is going to get toasted. Lions head coach Dan Campbell said the Lions plan to reassess his injury this week, though, so we'll have more for you, I'm sure, tomorrow. There's a very good chance the Bucs are down not one, not two, not three, but four of their top wide receivers when things kick off Monday night. There is some hope that Mike Evans returns that well. Hope for the Bucs fans that Mike Evans is going to return for this game, but that remains to be confirmed yet. Emeka Egbuka was the latest wide receiver to go down with that bug, thanks to his hamstring injury that cropped up during the Week 6 win over the Niners. Wide receivers Chris Godwin Jr. and Jalen McMillan, along with running back Bucky Irving, have already been ruled out for this game. So if you thought we were dealing with secondary issues, the Bucs are dealing with offense issues. So you think. They're still rolling offensively, especially in the pass game, thanks to Baker Mayfield. And Rachaad White is a fine backup, and he's been going in and getting things going in the run game. So it's not nearly as bad as you think it is on paper for them right now. I don't know. It's a battle of who wants it more. The Lions, Davenport has already been confirmed out, of course. So has Malcolm Rodriguez, who a lot of people thought were going to be back soon, and hopefully before the bye week, but it doesn't look like that. Thankfully, though, Taylor Decker and Zach Cunningham have been upgraded to questionable, so hopefully they do play Monday, as well as McNeil, who we know should be making his return. Honestly, with all the injuries on both sides, it kind of feels even, right? Evenly matched in a way. But I think it's going to be a battle of who can perform the best in the worst shape, right? Baker is the biggest threat right now. His legs, his ability to still find his backup receivers for huge completions and huge touchdowns. And if Mike Evans does end up playing, then we have a lot more to worry about, because now it's not only just our backups versus their backups, it's our backups versus a guy who's consistently put up 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Despite his age, he's still him. It makes me a little more worried. Hopefully we will be able to contest that, though. I'm not hoping Mike Evans doesn't play. That's a crappy thing to do, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be basically our pass rush versus their passing offense, and who can we get to him quicker? Can he get the ball out quicker? And then can our secondary cover? We're going to have to watch and see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. Quickly, that's going to take us to viewer comments. Just some good ones real quick. The first one that I wanted to talk about was one of them that had a lot of likes on this comment, and that's Thomas Stoner 2495, who says, To see how Juju gets away with everything, 100% total BS. Branch open hand slapped a guy with a helmet on, like that's gonna hurt. I mean, you still can't do it. I'm just saying. Give me a break. Total BS. Juju gets away with possibly injuring Branch for the year. Total BS. My opinion. Those who say Branch deserves what he got without acknowledgement of Juju deserves the same as a moron. Hello, hey, Branch was absolutely blasted on the blind side. The refs absolutely threw this game. All right, now let's break that down. First of all, that was all in caps too, just so you guys know. Let's break that down. Do I think the call on Branch should not have been missed? And do I think the refs should have given us some better calls? Absolutely. I went back and found out the Chiefs didn't get a single flag after some of the stuff I had seen throughout this game. I went back and acknowledged that. That's insane. But we know the Chiefs get these stupid calls. Branch doing that, obviously, I'm fired up for him. He deserves to get some retribution for that missed call. Absolutely. But now him being gone against the Bucks and Kirby Joseph dealing with that knee and our secondary already being what it is, it just didn't seem like a smart move for a guy who knows what the team could be doing right now. But hopefully he gets back hopefully he's back next week off that ankle injury, totally healed. And yeah, but I agree with you. Should have been called on that blindside block. It just sucks now because we're in a kind of a worse spot for Monday. Thank you, anyways, for your comment. I do appreciate it. And then next, Dr. Jekyll 2711 says, when Goff stood behind the center, his feet were set. He never went under center, so that touchdown was not illegal. Also, it's not a reviewable call, and they didn't throw the flag before the play ended. The refs are supposed to enforce the rules, not ignore them. Yeah, no, I went back and looked at this a lot, and Dan Campbell even talked to the media about how he kind of doubled down on that play. Should have been fine. Because of that, he didn't technically line up under center, right? And like you say, they didn't throw the flag on that play originally. I actually looked, and there was a story that came out about this. It was New York called and nullified the play from New York. The refs didn't even have a flag down for an illegal shift. So it's like, what are we doing? The refs don't even know what the call should have been. They didn't even know. Like, even if that was illegal, they wouldn't have even known. That would have just been a missed call by the refs, and they need someone up top to correct them on calls that they're not making. That's concerning to me, and I can totally see where you're coming from, Dr. Jekyll. Thank you so much for commenting that. It made me look into it a little more, and I'll say I was a little wrong just going with the refs right away. This does seem like kind of a fishy play coming out of New York. So thank you so much for your comment. With that being said, we are out of time today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point in the video right now, tell me what you guys think about that trade rumor and whether or not it'd be better than the Seattle guy. And if you think it really happened, because I have confidence it might, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss a single video here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you